You defended Tommy Robinson on this very program. In fact, you were one of the very first people to speak up for Tommy, and it was on this very show. We talked about your views on him, about political persecution, and we also asked whether at that stage he'd be welcome as a member of Integrity Party, and you said yes, he would. That's now morphed into Advance UK. Tommy's now become a member. As a result, there's been a sort of surge in membership. Critics say you've aligned with extremism. Supporters call it brave honesty. Do you believe Tommy should play a public role in Advance UK's movement, and will you be joining him on the September the 13th rally, as we discussed last time?
So everyone should have the right to join a political party. If you're a British citizen and you have the right to vote, I think it would be utterly wrong of political parties to say you can't join because you are who you are. I think there's been far too much sanction and sanctimonious high morals drum banging by politicians saying, "Oh, they're not part of us. They're British people. They're British citizens. If they're British citizens, they should be allowed to join a political party." And by the way, the right of political association is a human right. By the way, so when people get on their high horse and say so and so isn't welcome in the political party, they're actually standing in a way, slightly contrary to the human rights. Principles of human rights. As far as the 13th of September is concerned, that's yet to be determined. But I see that Tommy Robinson has got some great speakers lined up going to that. European politicians from across the board, Steve Bannon, Jordan Peterson, that beautiful young Dutch politician whose surname I can't pronounce, and a whole load else besides. I believe there are going to be hundreds of thousands of people there, certainly over 100,000 people. It's going to be quite the event.
Oh, absolutely, and it's been heavily promoted on various platforms. And have you personally spoken to Tommy? You hadn't last time we discussed it.
I have now had one conversation with Tommy Robinson. I have.
And what was that conversation?
That was confidential. That was a private conversation we had.
Did he ask you to speak at September the 13th?
We haven't discussed that. We haven't. He hasn't invited me to that yet. No.
Okay. And is there a formal or informal relationship between him and Advance UK? Obviously, he's got several thousand followers. Errol Musk, as you know, who's a regular on the show, called him the new Nelson Mandela, and believe he can be a political force. Have you suggested some sort of relationship on that sort of basis?
Sorry, what sort of relationship?
Well, the sort of relationship, a more formal relationship between Tommy and Advance
Tommy
UK.
Robinson, I think he's very clear on it, doesn't want to be in frontline politics. He wants to be a campaigner and an activist and a journalist.
Okay. Reform UK were dogged by scandals over candidate vetting, often from controversial online statements or affiliation. How will Advance UK avoid the same fate?
Scandal. I mean, there will always be. We're no doubt going to make mistakes like all other political parties. Everyone does. But I think with the checks and balances and processes we've got in place, we will hopefully make fewer of them than others do, and we will rectify them as and when they happen.